Okay, we are going to solve 5b plus 12c equals 9 for b. Remember that b and c are both variables. So first thing I want to do is get everything to the other side and just have b on the left side. So first thing I'm going to do is subtract 12c. So I'm left with 5b equals 9 minus 12c. Remember that 9 and 12c cannot be combined because they're not like terms. Then to get b by itself, I would divide by 5, and I get b equals 9 minus 12c over 5. And that is my answer. Alright, for example 2, we are trying to solve for x. So first thing I need to do is get all my x's to the same side. I have x, I have z's, and I have y's. Remember, z and y are just numbers. We just don't know what they are at the moment. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is to add x, y to both sides. So I have 7x plus xy minus 2z equals 4. I then am going to add 2z to both sides. So I have 7x plus xy equals 4 plus 2z. Then, since I see both of these have x in them, but I cannot combine them because this has a y and this one doesn't, I'm going to actually pull out an x. So that way, from each of those terms. So I'm factoring out an x. I'm left with 7 there, and I'm left with plus y. So I undistributed. And then I have 4 plus 2z on this side. And then to get x by itself, I need to divide by the quantity 7 plus y. So I get my answer is x equals 4 plus 2z all over 7 plus y. Go ahead and try example 3. Example 3 says solve for a. So I need to undo. First, before I can deal with anything in my parentheses, I want to deal with this n divided by 2. Instead of dividing by n over 2, I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. Remember, reciprocal is when we take the top and the bottom and we flip them. So I'm going to multiply s times 2 over n. So I'm multiplying by the reciprocal here on both sides. So when I simplify it, I have 2s over n on the left. On the right hand side, this part goes away because it equals 1. And I'm left with a plus t. My goal is to get a by itself, so I need to get rid of this plus t. To get t to the other side, I need to subtract it. So I have 2s over n minus t equals a. And that would be my answer. Okay, so for example 3, we have a car's fuel economy, E, which is the label miles per gallon, is given by the formula E equals mg, where m is the number of miles driven and g is the number of gallons of fuel used. So first we need to solve for m. I first have an equation E equals m over g that was given to us. I need to solve for m. So to undo dividing by g, I need to multiply by g. And I get m equals g times e. Remember, g is representing my gallons, and e is representing my fuel economy, and m is going to represent how many miles I've drove. Okay? For part B, we have an example. Claudia's car has an average fuel consumption of 30 miles per gallon, and she used 9.5 gallons. I'm going to highlight those two things because those are two important details we need to know. We also need to know how far she drove. We are told, using our equation up here, how far she drove is represented by m. So I'm trying to solve for m. So using this formula up here, I can solve for it by plugging in my variables. The 30 miles per gallon is going to be my E, because that is my fuel economy. It also has the same label, miles per gallon and miles per gallon. I use 9.5 gallons. That's how much fuel I use, so that is going to be my G. Okay, so then if I have M equals G times E, G is 9.5 gallons. And I need to multiply it by 30 miles. The word per means divide. So I'm driving 30 miles for every gallon of gas I'm using. Or diesel, whichever fuel you're using. Okay? Since this is a fraction, we can always put this over a 1. Now we need to simplify. First, looking at my numbers, I have 9.5 and times 30. 9.5 times 30 gives me 285. And 1 times 1 gives me 1. I now need to look at my label. I have gallons on the top and I have gallons on the bottom. They are going to cancel out. I have nothing else label-wise that can cancel. I'm left with miles and nothing on the bottom. So miles just tags along. So my answer would be Claudia drove 285 miles. Alright, so for example 5, we have the formula of a volume of a cylinder is V equals pi r squared h, where r is your radius and h is the height. We need to solve for the volume, or solve the formula for h. So first start with writing your formula, V equals pi r squared times h. Since all of this is multiplied together, I can divide by pi r squared all at once. I'm then left with h equals V over pi r squared. So that's my formula. I then have a problem that says, what is the height of a cylindrical pool where the radius is 12 feet and the volume is 1810 cubic feet? So important information is 1810 cubic feet and 12 feet. Looking at this, it tells me radius of 12 feet, so that is going to be my R. And volume is 1810, that's going to be my V. So now I need to plug into my formula to solve for H. So I have H equals 1810. Include your label. Remember, cubic means cube, so that's an exponent of 3. And then I have pi r squared, so I have pi times 12 feet squared. So when I simplify that, I have 1810 feet cubed over, I'm going to put the number in front of the pi So 12 squared is 144 pi. The label for the bottom is going to be feet squared, because not only does the number square, but the label will square. I then need to simplify. Since I have feet squared on the bottom and I have feet cubed, I'm left with just feet on top. And then I need to multiply out. So 1810 divided by 144 times pi, that is going to give me 4.00009, I believe. So that is going to round to 4 feet, and my label tags along. And remember, if it's given to us as a problem, a story problem, we give it back an answer in a sentence. So the height of the pool was 4 feet tall. And that is how you do that problem.